I wanted to make you all a quick video before everybody's trying to sleep in this room. Now that I'm here at Disney World, is something that you might want to go hunt for. Pairings versus BTC that are doing well, similar to how Ethereum versus BTC is doing well. Here is why. If a coin, whether it is Ethereum, another one that's doing very well is West, one that cryptillions and crypto crackheads have heard a lot about because I personally, on a personal level, decided to go kind of heavy on it. I don't know, about 3 weeks ago, something like that. I just had a feeling that the charts were gonna hold strong even in a wishy-washy market. I just saw a lot of strength, and that actually proved to be a pretty good gamble. But there are other coins doing that as well. So, but it's here's the reason why you might want to hunt for those. Um, that are doing well versus Bitcoin because right now their price might be a little suppressed versus the US dollar pairing. So you could still get them at a relatively good price for that coin. However, here's the profitable part of it. If that coin holds a base versus Bitcoin, that's relatively high, like a high base, not down here, not like returning to prior highs, but forms a higher base, even if US dollar value is going up, if that coin is either going up versus Bitcoin or relatively, stair stepping still versus Bitcoin during this and hasn't lost all of its gain versus Bitcoin, which a lot of coins have, then when Bitcoin recovers, those are the coins that are going to fly first. Those coins are going to fly versus the dollar before everything else. I'm telling you. Because they're not going to, on their Bitcoin pairing, as Bitcoin goes up, they've already formed a base. They're not going to break that base just because Bitcoin goes up. They're going to trade either equal to, I guess this is my, so that's not equal to side. It's either, they're either going to trade equal to Bitcoin, meaning they're going to go up in value, or they're going to keep making their gains on Bitcoin. And as Bitcoin's making gains on the dollar, that means it's making double gains. Their gains are going to be big. I'm telling you. There aren't many coins doing it. I just went through about, I don't know, maybe 30 or 40 coins, and not very many are doing it. So Ethereum is definitely one. One of the best I could find of the coins that I follow is West. So, and I want to be very frank, I did buy fair, well, I mean, relative. Like, maybe I typically don't go in any one coin more than a certain amount of portfolio. So it's not, I didn't go all into it. But one of my bigger holdings, which is still single digits, is in West, right? Because I have a very diversified portfolio. Even though right now it's way less diversified on purpose, though. But anyway, so those two charts are looking really good. Another one that's making nasty gains versus Bitcoin right now is Dash. Dash is going on a screamer, and it's doing a stair step like a squirrel fashion. So it's stair stepping versus Bitcoin. It did give up this little bit of gains here, but it didn't go all, it looks like it's breaking out here. It did not want to stay below this 200 moving average. It looks like it's going to hold this, and it looks like it's getting ready to make gains. I mean, I think it's getting ready to do some work. Let's see what the weekly RSI and Stokes are doing. Yeah, I mean, its weekly just came down to test its moving average on the RSI moving average, and it's ticked up. And once the moving average, gets past here and it can tick up and recheck it one more time in about 3 to 4 weeks, that next tick up can be really strong. After any RSI time frame, does this recheck of the moving average after it crosses this line. For whatever reason, it just typically works out that way. Not always, but I mean, just look at Dash right now. It's making some serious headway. I mean, even look at it down like to the 1 hour chart. It decided, nope, I'm not going down with Bitcoin. I'm going to be making gains versus Bitcoin. Now, is its chart as pretty as Ethereum's? No, but right now it's deciding, nope, I will get back my gains. It looks like versus Bitcoin. And so when Bitcoin goes up, I think this is going to make some pretty serious gains as well. That's kind of what it's looking like. Um, it looks like it wants to get its gains back and potentially keep going. Even on the daily here, you got it crossing the moving average, and it'll probably come back test it. And I don't think that Bitcoin's drop in price is going to pull this down anymore. I think this is done going down versus Bitcoin. Made a pretty major low for itself. And even if Bitcoin goes down to 20K, I would assume that the US dollar value of Dash would still go down a little bit. And it would keep making gains versus Bitcoin. But once Bitcoin finally recovers, it's going to hold those gains, which means it's going to make double gains as Bitcoin gains versus the dollar, and Dash is continuing its gains versus Bitcoin as it's already been making gains. It's going to make double gains. I'm telling you. Assuming this keeps in this direction here. This chart is not as pretty as Ethereum, so I will say that very frankly. And so there are some coins that are in between that are questionable whether they look like they want to get their gains back or not. Harmony is one, no pun intended. So Harmony seems to have held a pretty good base, even though I think it went up too high too fast. It's been going sideways for quite some time. 69 days, great number, but no, I think even though it went on a screamer, once Bitcoin recovers, I think this could make another pretty serious push. As much as I hate to admit it, Pirate's another one. Pirate has held its weekly 10 versus Bitcoin even better than Ethereum. Ethereum did not keep its actually maybe it did. No, Ethereum did not keep its weekly 10. So the red line, meaning when I say keep its weekly 10, it didn't stay above the red line. And the weekly 10 means the average closing price, so where the candle stops. So the green candles, it's the top. The red candles, it's the bottom. The last 10 of those averaged together with a little bit of weight towards the more recent candles numbers because it's an exponential moving average. So it gives a little favoritism towards the last 2 or 3 or whatever. So it's not quite like a straight average, but it's similar to a straight average. That's what the 10 is on any time frame. So on the 4 hour, it means the last 10 closes of the 4 hour. But anyway, so like Pirate Chain, honestly, as much as I said no way I'd get into that, now it did drop like a madman, even versus Bitcoin, but it just went up too high too fast. But even dropping 70%, it held its weekly 10. That's kind of impressive, and I fully anticipate it's going to make another pretty decent push versus Bitcoin. And even if it only gets up to here again, and I don't know why Pirate Chain's not showing up on TradingView anymore. I couldn't get it to work. Not for sure what happened. Maybe it changed its ticker or something. But even if it gets up here and then Bitcoin's making all-time highs, that means this is by far making all-time highs as well. So I don't know. This looks like it could so I'm using those two as an example because I kind of warned a lot of people as those were skyrocketing up. I'm trying to save you from buying this after YouTubers did it. Here's how you can save yourself by playing the range, even if you got burned. I use these specific Harmony One and Pirate Chain, but as of now, after this dip, they seem to be holding pretty good levels versus Bitcoin, and I think they could make another push, even though they did recently get way too out too fast and they have corrected hard. But those might be two of the assets that start moving up rather quickly when Bitcoin finally recovers. Let's kind of look at Viacoin, how well it's kept its Bitcoin gains or not. It kind of fell back to its range, didn't it? Yeah, it didn't even keep that higher low, so that isn't quite as impressive. BPro, Army, yeah, the pricing never works. BPro, I actually already know BPro hasn't held very well versus Bitcoin. See, so this is one, unfortunately, that might not. So if you're still into BPro a bunch, I mean, this might not be one that starts screaming earliest because it's got work to do. It's probably going to have to close some candles above the 10 versus Bitcoin before it'll start moving up versus Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin's going up that time, then it'll start making gains. But that's what I'm saying. It won't be one of the first because it has work to do. It's not just going to fly up versus Bitcoin. It won't happen. It'll be the same. There's literally like a 90+% chance it will gain confidence somewhere around the 10 or go past the 10, then recheck at one of those and then go. So it can either do one of those, fly past it, recheck, or it can gain confidence by closing, closing, closing right at it several candles and then fly up. And the candles don't necessarily have to be over it, all of them, but out of 3 or 4 in a row, they need to be around it and like 2 or 3 of them closing above the weekly 10. And then so this is one example that could scream, potentially, even though it looks like a very weak chart right now, I'm not going to lie, versus Bitcoin. But most things are, even with Bitcoin going down. But this won't be one of the first because it has work to do. So coins that are already doing work now versus Bitcoin are the ones that should fly up first. I mean, like Dash is doing some serious work. Like it's above its weekly 10 right now versus Bitcoin. Did it hold its weekly 10? No, but it's above its weekly 10. With with really good looking stuff on the RSI. I mean, this one looks like it wants to giddy up. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Dash makes gains versus the dollar, even if Bitcoin like goes down to 30K again. I just think that'll be bigger green candles versus BTC, which would create its price, perhaps staying above 200 or 195 or something. It looks like it's getting ready to do some work. Ethereum doesn't look like it's getting ready to do some work necessarily versus Bitcoin, but this is versus the dollar. But it looks like it's holding. Well, actually, it did hold its weekly 10 versus Bitcoin. Maybe I said something different. Maybe I was looking at the US dollar pairing. Actually, Ethereum looks fantastic. So I guess it is still doing work versus Bitcoin. It held its 10, didn't even touch it, and it's still going up. So I don't know. I think Ethereum could go on another screamer. Even if Bitcoin consolidates, goes sideways, I think this is ready to move up versus Bitcoin. And then, even if Bitcoin isn't getting anywhere close to 48K or anything like that, I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if like this separation idea really actually starts working, because in the charts, I'm seeing signs of it right now. So there are a lot of coins we follow that aren't making gains, like Viacoin's not making gains versus it. It'll have to do some work first, so it won't be one of the first. Let's see what Litecoin is doing here. I kind of doubt it's making serious gains. So yeah, well, it's kind of like Dash. It didn't hold it, but now it's above its weekly 10. So Litecoin could get some work done, because the key is closing above the weekly 10. So it's doing the work now. And so once Bitcoin recovers, as long as it keeps holding that, it could really take off versus Bitcoin. And if Bitcoin is going up, it's going to be making double gains. So coins that are are closing above its weekly 10, I think they're going to be the first movers. So what you might do, have I ever back tested this theory? No, but that's just the way. I don't know. I could just. I don't know. It makes mathematical sense to me. I didn't plan this video too well. I just started. I just saw Dash just make moves versus the dollar, thinking, what the hell? It's not moving with Bitcoin anymore. Then I looked at it versus Bitcoin. I said, holy crap, it's not moving with Bitcoin. Making gains versus Bitcoin. So, right now, folks, you might start searching for coins that are making moves versus Bitcoin, didn't give up all their gains too. But most importantly, if you just want to go to the week, right? And if you've never done this before, just go to indicators, type in 5 EMA, maybe that. No, 5 exponential. Type in 5 exponential, right? Just click one. 5 exponential, click one. And then it'll show up here. Okay. And then you hit the gear and you put inputs as the first one is 10, second one is 21. That might be all you need, so you can uncheck everything else and make this whatever color you want. If you want it the same as mine, the red is 10, and then start flipping through coins. Like go to Phantom versus BT, like, whatever coins that you think you want to have. See, did it give up all its gains? Yeah, and more. Like it went to the bottom of the previous range, and it's below the 10, and it got rejected from the 10. That's no good. Ooh, let's look at Cardano. I have a feeling Cardano is doing some work against Bitcoin. I don't know, because the price on yeah, look at that. Cardano's actually might be the best. Might be tied with Ethereum. Let's see here. It's identical. Cardano's holding strong. So Cardano might be a first mover, along with Ethereum, West. Even though West didn't know very well no coin, I'm saying it like it is. It's not Dash. Let's see what Dot's. Dot took a beating, didn't it? Yeah, it even got rejected. So that won't be a first mover either, even though I really felt that all this consolidation was going to really serve it well. But I don't know. That's a great project. I'm surprised it's not doing work right now. So yeah, that's not good. So these are the coins that won't, you know, fly first because it has to do work versus this 10. I'm telling you, they don't just fly up, and if they do, they will retrace 95% of the time. Therefore, it won't be a first mover, right? What other BNB? Uh, BNB getting some work done, so this could actually this could be a first mover as well. Bitcoin Cash. Uh, let's see here. Bitcoin, yeah, Bitcoin. Actually, that looks really good. Bitcoin, that chart actually looks. That posturing's really nice. Actually, staying above the 21, the yellow's the 21, coming down to it, closing exactly. So this is trading heavily versus Bitcoin. Then, it's saying, I am not going below there, and I'm getting some work done. That's a really good posturing, even though it's not as strong looking. It didn't stay as strong as Cardano, but that's a good posturing. That could allow it to really launch off this honestly, that this type of posturing could actually make it more than like one of the top performing first movers because it has a launch point, and something like Cardano and Ethereum that stayed so far above, you know, before they launch, they might want to test this line. Sometimes hitting that line perfectly is good because it gives it like a launch pad, right? That's just how a lot of coins work. That weekly 10 is just so special, and I don't know why other folks aren't. I had a house Patreon member today say that I refer to the 10 or the weekly chart more than anybody that he's found on YouTube. That's a shame because you know really all of your decisions should be based off of the momentum of the weekly candle, and then you go to the smaller time frames just to determine your entry for that greater plan on the week. If you're not doing that, you're making a mistake. Unless you're doing scalping. So, sometimes you really don't care if Bitcoin's going up or down. If you're doing only playing horizontals within a range and you wait till it's ranging, so you're not trying to catch knives or anything, you wait, right? If you're doing scalping stuff with 5x whatever leverage, or even not that much leverage, I guess you wouldn't have to do this. But if you're making trades that aren't scalping in nature, or even doing long-term holds, but right now I don't know if you should be buying for long-term holds. I've heard a few YouTubers recommend that, like, oh, we'll be getting these altcoins on sale. Being in altcoins, folks, right now is not the way to be, unless it's one of these that's above its weekly 10 versus Bitcoin. I'm telling you, being in altcoins is not going to help your portfolio right now. Unless you're viewing it for a longer term hold till December or whatever. But why not make better gains right now by not being in coins that aren't doing well versus Bitcoin? Go for the bigger gains, and then when your coins start catching up and getting above the weekly 10 versus Bitcoin, then go get them because now you have more money, right? Because you were in coins that have better gains. Like, yeah, you all should get your portfolio into. And this is something I've said to my Patreon community quite a bit, so I guess I can finally release that idea to YouTube. But being in small alts right now, like that aren't above its weekly 10, and it's not that great of an idea. Um, for that reason stated, because you can buy them later with more money if you're in a better coin right now. You can be more nimble with your. Let's see let's see some other ones play. So that one's kind of indecisive. It looks like it wants to get rejected, though. We'll see, though. Um, Not quite as good as the other ones. Well, PCT, some of our community coins do that. That took a beating, so that will not even be close to a first mover. Bolt. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Really, so there aren't that many that have, one of the coins that my gut feeling has just, I don't know, a really good feeling about is ADB. Because it's similar to the overall thought. So it gets there through a different means, but it's similar to BAT in terms of end goal revenue with advertisements for both the viewers, consumers, and the content creators. But it has a different route to get there, much different. It's not creating a browser. But I don't know. Even though I have a good feeling about it, it's not in the charts. So maybe I shouldn't have that great of a feeling about it. What did I say about Litecoin? What did Litecoin look like? Wasn't it getting above its 10, kind of like Dash? Yeah, so Dash and Litecoin are kind of doing the same thing here. I don't know. So you might want to look for what you might think are of first movers, and then ride them as first movers. And if you don't want to hold those long term because you wanted a smaller alt that didn't perform, wait until those start closing above the 10, and then sell that first mover, because now you have more money by doing that than if you just held the other one. that isn't moving yet. It has work to do. It wasn't doing work. It has work to do. Once it's done the work, sell the first movers. Go buy now more of that crypto because you were making better gains versus the dollar by being in a first mover. Does that make sense? So that's kind of what I'm suggesting to everybody, even non-patrons right now, because I've already said this relentlessly to my patrons for quite some time. You need to. I've suggested that I personally, you can do what you want, like play Pokemon cards how you want, but this is not financial advice, obviously. But you can dump your Pokemon cards that are smaller in market cap to be more nimble with something like Ethereum or hell even Cardano Dash or Bitcoin Cash. Actually, it looked like a good one to be in right now. Um, that that you could market sell this whenever you want without moving the whole market. If you see a market downturn, then you could sell and then buy it back at a low, and you can make better gains like that during this wishy-washy market. And it's going to be a first mover, so once the market recovers, it's going to make gains before your small arts do. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. Like I can just see it in the charts, I can feel it. It's just mathematically sound. Will it happen? I don't know. That's what I'm seeing, and so that's what I'm trying to suggest to you to help everybody out here. Might be a good play. So yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So go hunt, and if you find some good ones, please let me know in the comment section. I would like to hear. Um, I would like to see some, because honestly, a lot of these community coins came from even before I had Patreon. It's just you all suggesting coins to me that were having the weekly cross. This guy right here, and then then we're looking for ones that had the weekly cross and retraced into it. That was a perfect time to buy for almost all coins, buying the retracement of the cross, because in February none of them really retraced. They all just took off like BPRO. Just it didn't even retrace. It just went meow. Yeah, leave me your thoughts in the comment section, and then go hunt and let me know some good ones that you find, especially if it's not some small alt that if 100 people see the same thing, we're not going to move it and create a pump and up. That would be better. If it's a market cap of, I don't know, 50 or 100 million, or I would say 100 million or bigger, I would suggest putting it down there. But if you suggest a smaller coin, well, shit, I was talking about West, wasn't I? That's a smaller coin. You could create trouble for yourself by multiple people buying into it, because then when you buy it, it's already having green candles, and then it could potentially dump on you. That's kind of what I suggest that people don't do. So, now that I'm suggesting West, this would be good to have already been into. So you might want to find one closer to the weekly 10, kind of like maybe like Dash or Bitcoin Cash. Really, that would be the perfect time to get it, because it's just starting to do work. But this has already got a lot of green candles. Actually, this chart looks pretty impressive. Versus Bitcoin. So yeah. So leave me some comments. Let me know what you find, and then we'll see you next time.